All right. Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. It's my pleasure. Nice to have you with us. As we were just talking about before we got on, you've got a book called Success from Anywhere, and you said also that you work at Salesforce. Explain what Salesforce is for the people that don't know what you guys do.
Salesforce is a company that builds technology to help organizations improve their customer experience, employee experience, and really serve stakeholders in new ways. So think about the technology that we build as an opportunity to take everything that you want and need to know about the people you serve, put it together in one place, and then have some intelligence that works on your behalf to let you know what the people you serve care about and the next best actions you can take to be of service to them in a meaningful way.
Is this a consulting company?
It's a customer relationship management software company. So think of us as the company that's behind the wonderful customer support and service experiences that you have, the great online and in-person shopping experiences that you have. We build that technology.
Oh, I see. So you custom build software for companies.
Yes, lots of people think of us as a competitor to companies or in the same category as companies like Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, HubSpot, ServiceNow, depending on your point of view.
Oh, okay. How long have you worked there?
I'm coming up on 7 years of being at Salesforce.
Wow. Okay. And what exactly is your position at the company?
I sit in the market strategy part of Salesforce. And inside of market strategy, we have three primary functions. The first one is competitive intelligence. I mean, like all businesses, we want to understand what our competitors are doing and what they are prioritizing. The second is analyst relations. So the team that works with people who write about us and rate us and share their perspective about how relevant we are and what we're bringing to market. And then the third area is thought leaders and influencers, and I'm in that part of the team. And we're fortunate to spend time studying the trends of what's happening in the market. What are the biggest challenges facing leaders and organizations right now? And how can we release frameworks and help bring new products and features to market that are meant to address those needs, close those gaps? And I focus on the future of work. I mean, that's been boring. Nothing's changing about how we work, right? And the future of customer experience. So, the way we connect with our customers, as well as equity in the workplace and in the world.
Okay, you mentioned thought leader and thought leadership. I've heard that term. I've had several people on the show who have called themselves thought leaders. What is your definition of that?
I think about a thought leader as someone who voraciously consumes information, applies curiosity and creativity to produce thoughts that become the catalyst for innovation, change, and new results. I think about what we have the opportunity to do as taking a scan of a topic people care about and considering what's normal and what's on the edge and what actions people might take to make an impact and influence or change the outcome or the direction in which they're moving.
Is this something that you would work with CEOs of companies, how to improve their abilities to lead and direct the workforce?
Yes, and let's put this in practical terms because I think about the future of work. One of the topics CEOs want to talk about is the topic of talent. Who is our workforce now? What are the skills that they might need? What are their highest aspirations? And how do we attract and retain top talent? Our CEOs are very aware of and feeling the challenge of the shifts in the needs of the workforce. In many cases, I'll have CEOs say to me, "Hey, we don't have enough people working to meet our earnings targets. We realize we have skills gaps. We're concerned about quiet quitting, right? This phenomenon where people still come to work, but we're not getting them at their best. What's it going to take to have the right workforce with the right skills that are aligned with the opportunities of where we're trying to go and how we might serve our customers in the future?
During the COVID pandemic, there was a huge uptick in remote working. There's obviously the positive sides are great. You don't have to commute anymore. You save time. In some cases, companies have eliminated their office altogether. They don't need to spend money on expensive real estate. Do you see any downside to remote working versus being in person altogether in an office space?
Where we work is about a series of trade-offs. And what I hear most frequently is that people want to come together for what I call moments of meaning. There are some moments along our journey as employees where we do prefer to be in person. Some very prominent examples would be onboarding. When you're new to an organization or new to an industry, most people want the opportunity to be with some of the folks they work with in person. Another example is coming together to do innovation, also team building, working on trust and rapport. There are moments when we prefer to be together in person because we believe that those moments are richer. What we create and build, whether that's trust, rapport, or an understanding of the company culture if you're new, and some relationships, can be more meaningful in person. Really, at the core of what people are asking for is to come together around these moments of meaning based on the meaning rather than what can feel like an empty mandate. So, what I see organizations default to sometimes is issuing a policy, a mandate. You will come to the office for so many days a week for so many hours. And without attaching meaningful activities to that, many employees are left wondering, is that worth my commute? Is that worth the time I'm going to invest? By contrast, there are times when we all prefer to be together. We have more fun, we feel more productive, there's a different energy to that kind of experience. It's all about understanding those moments of meaning from both the employer and the employee's point of view, so that when we come together, we can commit to gathering with a purpose. It's not that we never want to see each other in person again. I think we learned during the lockdown, we are social people to some degree. It's just we think about what are the moments of meaning? What would it take to earn our commute? How are we going to make this worth the investment of our time?
So you think that the moments of meaning loses a generation if it's done on Zoom rather than in person?
What it takes to orchestrate moments of meaning and to connect in every conversation virtually is different than in person. I mean, this device that I'm speaking to you and to your listeners on right now is like a jumbotron. Imagine for just a moment if I looked away or you saw me look down, you might think, is she texting during this conversation? Okay, that might be distracting here. What happens in this distributed environment? Now imagine this is a high stakes customer presentation. I mean, this is where you make or break your quota for the year, and you see the customer do that. Or you're the employee that's new or feeling like you're out of alignment with your boss. And during your one on one, your boss makes these minor moves that look like big distractions. It takes a different set of skills to communicate in a way that we connect in every conversation and build trust and rapport when we're operating as if this is a television broadcast rather than a human conversation.
Oh, that's a good point. And there are certain rules about that too, which we don't need to get into, but you're right, it is a different sort of a format. Just as a quick example, and then we'll pivot over to your book. When people are texting each other, sarcasm gets lost in text all the time, and people misinterpret what people are saying if they do something sarcastically, where that's never misinterpreted when you're in person because they,
Yes,
right?
fact, I had a friend say to me the other day when I tried to be funny in a text message, and the response that came back was, I think this might be one of the times where you're trying to be funny and you're not. And I thought, oh, I thought that was so obvious. And it wasn't. And that was just with a friend where there's very little on the line. We already have a relationship.
Right, right. And I've experienced that many times with people. And so now what I've seen people do is they'll put the word sarcasm in brackets, which I don't know, it sort of destroys the joke, I think, when you do
Yeah,
something
it
like that.
softens the punchline,
It
doesn't
softens
it?
the
It's like,
punchline.
oh,
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you've got a book out called Success from Anywhere. Also on your bio, it says that you're a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. So I'm assuming this isn't your first book, right?
correct. Success from Anywhere is my fourth book. And I was pleased to have so much support for that to make the Wall Street Journal bestseller list and really open up the conversation about how we can rework work together.
Okay, is the book covering basically what we've just been talking about, or what is the topic of the book?
The book is thinking about how to create your own future of work from the inside out. And the book functions from the question, what would happen if we could change the game of work and life together? Because so much of where we get stuck in this dialogue about where we should work and when we should work and how work should show up in our lives is tied to a past playbook, a legacy set of beliefs and behaviors that worked for us in the past before a significant context shift. I think of the book as a catalyst to change the conversation. And in fact, it also has a playbook with 10 games that teams and organizations can play together to challenge some of these myths and misperceptions we might still be carrying that no longer serve us.
Who's the book designed for? CEOs or the entire company?
The book is designed to close the gap between employers and employees. What I've discovered is it's not the employer versus the employee. We need to change the conversation. We need to come together in a way that we get curious, we ask more questions, and ultimately create choices together that we're both willing to live with. It's a book about co creation and closing that gap.
Okay, because I'm having this picture in my head of a company, let's say, that has 50 people. They would buy 50 copies of your book, hand them out to everybody, and then they would have a group meeting based on what's going on in your book. Is that sort of the idea? Like a workbook almost.
Yes. And what I like about what you said is that it is a workbook or a playbook to spark thoughtful conversations, to take what we're seeing and go to a deeper understanding to understand what it is that matters to all of us now. For example, one of the activities in the workbook is the stress free experiment. And the stress free experiment is a tool to reconnect with your values as an individual and then with your values as a team, as a function, and an organization. In times of stress, in times of change, reconnecting with our values has been scientifically proven to be a strategy to access greater resilience, new ideas. And really, the magic is even if our circumstances are not going to change, reconnecting with our values is a tool to change the way we see our circumstances. That's one example of 10 activities that help level set a new foundation. And that's something you can do as an individual, then talk about it as a team. And when you think about it, if you are living outside of your values and the way you are working, isn't that really what burnout is? Living outside of your values for an extended period of time. And I mean, you'll never feel like you fit in an organization if there's a values mismatch. That's one example.
Okay, great. Is the book out now?
The book is out, yes.
Okay, and I guess the last question, we do have to kind of wind this down. We have just sort of run out of time. But do you have a website that you want to give out, a personal one or one for the book?
Yes, readsuccessanywhere.com is the website. And in addition to the Success from Anywhere book, which is available on Amazon and all of your favorite online retailers, I started a podcast called Success from Anywhere as well. And if you prefer video like what we're doing here, I have a YouTube channel that's under my name where you can watch the podcast. And we're focusing on people and businesses that are disruptors around where we work, how we work, and when we work.
Okay, great. Well, Karen, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you, nice speaking with you. Best of luck with your book, your podcast, your career, everything. Sounds like you've got a lot on your plate.
Thank you. The beautiful thing is, what I'm doing is aligned with my values and what I care about. And I just feel that the pandemic created a pause and an opportunity for us to change our relationship with work for the better.
Well, great. Thanks again. Best of luck.
Thank you.